Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Desk with Ryan Potts and Jack Mitchell. I'm Ryan Potts, otherwise known as Splash. You can find me on social media at Mr. Splashman19 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on the U Stadium app as Splash. You can find Jack on U Stadium as Jack Mitchell and on Instagram as Jack_Mitchell_01. How's it going, Jack?
Beautiful.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, we're just another day in the life of the pandemic, but Kings are on a win streak.
Hey, the Red Wings won the other day, or I guess
Nice.
last night. So yeah, the once in a blue moon, Detroit won. The Cavs won the other night, which was exciting. Actually,
Only the
won
Lakers
twice,
can get it together.
Yeah, that's true. The whole Anthony Davis injury, but hey, the Cavs have won like 2 in a row, or maybe 2 out of 3. I don't remember the last game, but something's going right in the world for once. But I did have a thought last night. It sucks that we don't get to see professional football for the next 7 months.
That's true.
And I was really upset that I had to write an article about Lamar Jackson. Hey, if you want to see that article, text me or DM me. But I had to write an article about Lamar Jackson. It just bums me out that I have to wait 6 more months to watch him play.
Yeah.
Football.
It's the same thing with me because like I'm all hyped up about the Stafford trade. And I'm like, oh wait, we can't see him play for another like 7 months. So
yeah,
knowing Sean McVay, he's probably going to rest people in the preseason. So
right. I wonder if we're going to even have a preseason. You know, maybe it's only
true.
2 games because they are allegedly expanding the regular season to 17 games. Who knows if that actually happens? I think it does.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I kind of like it the way it is at the same time. So.
And as far as I know, if it does expand to 17 games, our teams get to square off.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll
be a lot more fun. Hopefully a lot more fun than 2019.
I don't think we're going to be seeing a Jackson 5 that night. Speaking of the Jackson 5, speaking of a team that Lamar Jackson beat, the Seattle Seahawks, they have a quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's getting really weird over there. Our boy Russ.
Wild. Russell Wilson has not requested a trade, but he has a list of teams he wants to go to if he were to be traded. So make of that what you will. What do you make of it, Jack?
It's really weird because you look at this and it's like, oh, they're not going to trade Russ, right? But what's weird to me is the fact that he gave teams that he wanted to go play for. You don't see that happen very often where like somebody says, oh, I haven't requested a trade, but in case I do, I would consider going here. Like, when does that ever happen?
Yeah, that's quite bizarre. This really feels like free agency to me. That he has these teams that he wants to go to, and people are trying to connect the dots. It's not as cryptic as it gets with like Deshaun Watson or J.J. Watt. Those are hilarious. There was J.J. Watt tweeted like the mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell or something, and like
everybody is just speculating like crazy on that one.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh, look, there's a P in powerhouse. There's a P in Pittsburgh. Boom, he's going to the Steelers. There are people like that. Or I saw one tweet yesterday. I think it was Deshaun Watson had a tweet from like a long time ago, and someone like marked out all the letters besides MIA, Miami. So.
God. People, it's just how it is in the era of social media, where like like an athlete that might get traded or his name is in these rumors and stuff, they'll just take any random thing that they tweet and just be like, "Oh, this means something," and it's like literally like the meme where like they're like pinning stuff to the wall and stuff.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's wild. Like,
yeah.
Why is Allen Robinson going to come to the Ravens? Well, did you know that he liked a tweet by former NBA player Devin Marble about Lamar Jackson needing help? Bomb. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
I just think the Russ thing is the natural progression of players treating their contract like it's free agency. Oh, I didn't request a trade. I'm not going to damage my image like that. But hey, if I were to be traded,
if I do want to go somewhere,
give me these 4 teams that are pretty good.
By the way, those 4 teams are the Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, and Bears. You said before we went live you might want to see him in Vegas. but they don't have much of a defense.
Yeah. So, and also it depends on what they would do with Darren Waller. I know earlier in the offseason, one of the rumored trades was Deshaun Watson to Vegas for Carr and Waller and maybe some other stuff. If they trade Waller, I think it becomes an infinitely worse situation. I really do love Henry Ruggs. I like Renfro. I like Josh Jacobs. I love the offensive line.
Yeah.
But Waller's the guy there. Waller is tight end 3, and in today's NFL, he's tight end 1 in every other year besides ones that Kittle and Kelsey exist. Essentially,
yeah,
it's it's kind of wild. It's like the Rodgers. Do you remember the team of the decade that came out and people were arguing between Breeze, Peyton, and Rodgers for the second spot?
That seems familiar to me.
So to me, it's like that all of them are Hall of Famers. All of them are inner circle, first ballot, no doubt, whatever. Plus Brady, of course. Brady is the obvious pick there.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go wrong picking Breeze or Rodgers or Peyton. They ended up picking Rodgers. It's like Waller now. Waller is the 3rd best tight end in the NFL because the top 2 are potentially Mount Rushmore guys. Kelsey definitely is on Mount Rushmore right now. Kittle is on the fast track to being on the Mount Rushmore tight end.
I think he gets there soon.
Yeah, I think so. Just the blocking, the physicality, yards after catch, just the raw production. He almost outproduced Evan Ingram this year, and he played half the season. So if you're Russ and you go to Vegas, make sure Darren Waller's there. If not, I would cross Vegas off the list.
Yeah. So it's just really hard to see him going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would like him on the Saints.
Ooh.
I think that would definitely open that offense up a little bit more. He's basically like an upgraded version of like Taysom Hill, I would say, except he's less of a gadget QB. But Russ can do like basically anything with the football. That was my point. Mm-hmm. He can run it if he needs to. His escapability is insane. I really think he could help out that offense a lot down in New Orleans. So.
Yeah, I think that would be enticing. I know they're cap strung, so whatever. They've been cap strung before, and they still managed to acquire Emmanuel Sanders or re-sign Mario Davis and whatnot. But at a certain point, they need to figure something out. And in all of my writing, the Saints are the most annoying team to me because I don't know who their quarterback is going to be. Like, I know who the Colts quarterback is going to be. I know the Jets quarterback is either going to be Deshaun Watson or not Deshaun Watson. I don't know who the Saints quarterback is going to be. I don't know if it's Jameis. I don't know if it's Taysom. I don't know if it's Mac Jones. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson now. So it's just they have such a wide variety of outcomes that I could see the Saints winning the NFC next year if Jameis is their quarterback or Russ is their quarterback or even Mac Jones is their quarterback. Taysom Hill, I think he lowers the ceiling a little bit, but I think they're a playoff team with Taysom Hill, but I don't know. For all I know, they could start Kyle Trask or Cam or Trubisky, some random guy.
Anybody. It's really up in the air right now.
It's wild. Genuinely wild. I like the idea of him in Dallas, but I don't know if he's enough of an upgrade over Dak for it to be worth Dallas trading.
I don't think Dallas moves on from Dak.
I sure hope not. I think Dak's done a lot for the city. Dak's done a lot for the team. And you can say he's maybe not an elite quarterback. I know on the app there was a question, is Dak Prescott elite? And I'm like, no, but he's pretty close. And I think Russ is elite, but the problem with it's like when people say, if you swapped Lamar and Deshaun Watson, well, no, the Ravens wouldn't want to do that because Watson isn't enough of an upgrade to warrant trading your future for, and it's like if you're the Jets, yeah, it's fine. You can trade 4 first-round picks for Watson. Or if you're Miami, that's fine. He's an upgrade over Tua or whomever. But if you're the Ravens, or in this case Dallas with Russell Wilson, I don't think that's worthwhile investment if you're Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I just think Dak has done a lot for Dallas as well. And it feels really weird to move on. It's just the thing is like they keep saying that like, we're committed to Dak. He's going to be our long-term QB. They haven't signed him yet.
Right. And they might tag him again, which that's a lot. That's $37.7 million, if I remember correctly. We had it on the show last night. That's a lot of money. And just why don't you lock him up? You could have locked him up last year, and then he gets injured. The team sucks, so he actually drives up his price, which is weird because he got injured. And he got injured. That should lower his value. Did you watch the Cowboys play last year? Did you watch their offense?
I did.
It wasn't the same. It was not the same. You played them with Dak. My Ravens played them without Dak. There's a night and day difference.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was really sad to see. I'm an emotional person to begin with, but Dak, that was I'm not a Cowboys fan, but that was just that. No, Dak is the one guy you don't want that to happen to.
Yeah.
And then he hasn't been paid yet. So, I don't know what shout out to Taylor here. I don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking. I don't know what Stephen Jones is thinking. I don't know. The Dallas is weird, and
it's a mystery.
It's a mystery. And it's also a mystery of what the Chicago Bears are going to do at quarterback. They could be in the Mac Jones sweepstakes. They could even trade up for a quarterback. Who knows? But it depends on, do you re-sign Allen Robinson, or do you trade him, or do you just let him go in free agency? And do you make a splash move for, say, Russell Wilson?
Anything. I feel like anything is an upgrade, though, at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Foles wasn't very good. Trubisky wasn't very good. And it's it's getting down to it that Green Bay is really good. Don't get me wrong, but Chicago can beat Green Bay, I think. Minnesota can beat Green Bay. Green Bay is not invincible.
Yeah, they had an almost invincible year this past year. I still think though now that kind of thing doesn't really happen consistently though with too many teams.
Right.
I feel like Green Bay is going to probably be a little bit more beatable next year.
Mm-hmm. I think the Rams beat them with the healthy Aaron Donald and fully healthy Jared Goff. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
I don't even think Goff played bad that game. It was just
Goff was perfectly fine. It was just wasn't one of your wide receivers out?
Cooper Kupp.
Ah, that's right. Okay.
Enough said. Honestly, it's a huge difference on third downs without Kupp.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Green Bay. I did that in 2019. I thought they were fraudulent. I knew they were fraudulent, and then they got killed by San Francisco in the NFC title game. And they made it to the NFC title game. What a successful season! No, they were a fraudulent 14-4 team. There's no getting around it. They had a better record than they should have had this year. They probably had a worse record than they should have had. They were really good, and if they don't run into a really great Tampa Bay team, they probably go to the Super Bowl and they might even beat the Chiefs.
It's just that NFC championship curse keeps getting them.
Yeah. What, four losses in a row? 14, 16,
like that.
19, and 20?
I think
ouch.
That's it.
That's a big ouch.
Yeah.
Speaking of the big ouch, it's time to talk about every Jet fan's favorite quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Of course, Deshaun Watson is still employed by the Houston Texans, but he doesn't seem to have any willingness to want to return to Houston. He talked to David Culley recently, new head coach David Culley, and you're sitting in a weird spot because Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play for your franchise, and he's the best player you've ever had. Maybe from J.J. Watt, but second best player you've ever had.
And now, not only all that, but the news came out today saying that he's willing to sit out the preseason if there is one, and miss regular season games if they don't trade him.
Yeah.
So he could get a lot of fines during that time, but he just straight up doesn't care.
Do you think he's bluffing, or do you think would actually sit out games?
That's a good question.
Because that's a lot of money that he would be missing out on. Let's say he just misses the first month of the season. That's a lot of money. He gets paid, he signed a huge extension before last season, I think. And it's not a small sum of money that he is missing out on. It's
over $3 million plus in fines is what the tweet says.
Ouch. That's look, I know they're NFL players, and I know they get paid a lot of money, and at a certain point, $3 million to Deshaun Watson is just a drop in the bucket. But that's still 4 or 5 games you're never going to get to play again in the NFL. I feel like you're kind of missing your opportunity when you sit out games. Your Rams rested guys week 17. My Ravens rested guys week 17 in 2019. And it just kind of rubs me the wrong way that these guys have a finite number of NFL games they're going to play, and Lamar Jackson misses one of the starts of his MVP season because of rest, or Todd Gurley misses one of the starts in his MVP caliber season because of rest. That sort of thing just kind of irritates me.
Yeah.
So, whoop-de-doo, I guess. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a weird situation. It really is, and it sucks if you're a Texans fan right now. Probably this is a franchise QB. I don't think any it's going to be really hard to replace him if he does end up leaving, and it looks like that's kind of what's going to happen. I mean,
there's not a lot of franchise caliber quarterbacks that just go on the open market, right? It's really rare. I don't honestly think it's ever happened, right? Who's the biggest quarterback we've ever seen get traded? Like Jay Cutler?
Matt Stafford apparently now.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Stafford exists. My apologies, Rams fans. So I got Watson's stats here, and he led the league in passing yards for what that's worth last year. He has a career 105 105 passer rating. Oh, that's second to Mahomes. That Mahomes kid's pretty good. And 62 sacks, 44 sacks, 49 sacks. You can see why he's unhappy. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins before this season, and I can see why he's unhappy. I can definitely see why he's unhappy with that gloriously awful 4-12 record. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing game time for that.
I think something else to keep in mind too is that he said this was an ownership thing. Because he said he didn't think the Texans were doing too good of a job of all the social justice stuff that was going on, and then there was the whole I forget whether it was the head coach or the GM, but they said that they would give him input, they would let him have his own input on who got hired, and then they didn't let him have his input.
Yeah, because he wanted the Texans to interview Bieniemy, right? And they didn't interview him until very, very late in the process.
It was basically just an ownership thing, and then by this point, it was really too late for them to really recover that relationship. I feel like that might be the breaking point. There was when they lied about it.
Yeah, Houston's in such a weird spot because, you just look at the box score. Watch the games last year. They didn't play like a 4-12 team. That's a cliche. I know it. Atlanta didn't play like a 4-12 team, whatever. But they had, they were leading in the fourth quarter against Pittsburgh. They had a 4th and goal with a potential 2-point conversion to tie Minnesota. They lost a coin toss against the Titans. It was a bad weather game in Cleveland. They lost 2 fumbles inside the 10 with 2 minutes to go against the Colts. The first game they would have won if they scored and kicked the extra point. The second game they would have gone to overtime. They were subjected to the best game of Brandon Allen's career. So Brandon Allen had a 92 PFF grade week 16. The next week he had a 0.0 passer rating.
Jesus.
You got the God version of Brandon Allen for a week. That's one of your losses. And then week 17 you couldn't stop Derrick Henry or AJ Brown. So yeah, you see the 4-12 up here. The 0-4 for Bill O'Brien, 4-8 for Romeo Crennel. But this was a team that, if they had any sort of average luck, they would have gone 9-7 and won the division.
Yeah.
So it's
also hard to win under an interim head coach, though.
That's true. There's usually a little bump mathematically, which is odd. Raheem Morris started winning games. Is it Darrell Bevel? He started winning games in Detroit. It just kind of happens. These guys kind of energize their team, get a few wins here and there, but it's not really sustainable. Like, again, Bevel's not the head coach of the Lions moving forward. Raheem Morris is not the head coach of the Falcons moving forward. Romeo Crennel is not the head coach of the Texans moving forward, like, for example. So
I've seen it happen with the Rams too, because when Jeff Fisher got fired, they made John Fossil the head coach, or the interim head coach. He was only in that position from like week 12 until the end of the season or something like that. And then he went back to special teams, and now he's gone. So
special teams legend, Fossil.
Indeed. I miss him so much, honestly.
The watermelon kick down in was it watermelon kick down in Dallas?
Was it?
I think it was a watermelon kick, right? That weird Zerline rolly thing. I understand why Atlanta let it roll, but at a certain point, attack the football. Like, come on now, just attack the football. That was probably the dumbest play of the season, if I'm being honest. And it's crazy that we can talk about the Falcons having these dumb moments, the Chargers having these dumb moments. I'm sure you have a laundry list of Chargers dumb moments.
Oh boy.
The Texans were like, if the Falcons and the Chargers like conceived a child, it is the Houston Texans. Like, it is just total dysfunction. It's just out of this world. Like, how can you be so catastrophically bad in game-winning situations? You know, you have, I mean, the first Tennessee game isn't really their fault. Second Tennessee game, you have 15 seconds. Defend one pass play.
Yeah.
Nope. AJ Brown, 60 yards.
Yeah, that one was their fault. Like, because I think tweeted that the game was going to overtime. And then I had to like put myself on blast on the app, and I was like, oops.
Yeah. Yep. I remember I posted a who would win in overtime, like a poll, like pushed it out to everyone. It's like, tweeted it. Frankie's gonna give me a promotion. Yeah, let's go. And
we're all of a sudden,
Tannehill just, and it's like, really? Oh my goodness. Oh, did you know that Ryan Tannehill had the most 60-yard passes this season?
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Mahomes, like 10 plus yards, then Brady 20 and 30 plus yards, then a bunch of Rodgers, and then Tannehill's like 50 and 60 yards. So shout out to Ryan Tannehill. Good job losing the playoffs, pal.
Shame he couldn't do that in the playoff game. They relied on Derrick Henry too much, and then he ran into a wall.
Yes, he did. It was. I did some trivia yesterday on the app. Shout out to app users. You're great. And Derrick Henry had 57 or more rushing yards in every game this season, and I think he has extended that streak back to like the middle of 2019. That 25 straight games, if I recall, that he's gotten over 57 rushing yards, and then he goes for 40 in a playoff game. And hey, it's 28 if you want to count his romp to greatness in 2019. But 40 yards in a playoff game against a team you own? I don't know. That's weird. I've posted his rushing chart several times. I have triggered Titans fans on every app known to man, and they have nothing to defend it. They are like, oh, well, we beat you this other time. Well, we beat you the last time in your building. Okay. I mean, whoop-de-doo.
It's such a mess. Bottom line, I think that's Houston.
Speaking of a mess, did you check out the wonderful games at Lake Tahoe?
I did, and it started out looking like that's postcard quality games, and beautiful. Everything looked beautiful. They were playing them in the day. It looked great. And there was a lot of excitement around that, even though there were no fans. I thought that it was still a pretty cool environment. And then unfortunately, the sun became a problem because hockey just so happens to be played on ice, and sunlight and ice don't exactly mix too well.
No, they really don't. And I thankfully have this tweet pulled up from the last show. It's gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with it except the sun, but you can't see it in this picture naturally. But like, this is pristine. Like, I would play all my games in NHL 20. I know my roommate just got NHL 20. Like, I'd play every game at Lake Tahoe. But it just doesn't work when the sun is, creating holes in the ice, especially around the center circle.
Absolutely.
The green in the trees, and then the Mass Mutual logo and the Truly Hard Seltzer logo. We are not sponsored by them, but
not to mention all those beautiful blue line sponsors. Jeez.
Oh yeah, these Honda and Bridgestone. We are not. Again, we're not sponsored by them, but hey, they're there. Dunkin' too. Love me some Dunkin'.
Yeah. Anyway. So they had to play the games at night. So it was basically, you could only really see the trees and some of the lake. You couldn't see any of the mountains. You couldn't really see too much of the surrounding area. Yeah. It turned out to be much more of a mess than we thought it would. I hope it doesn't discourage them from trying this again, because I thought this was a really cool idea. Maybe you could, like, in the future, if the pandemic is gone, we could have some fans surrounding it.
So that'd be cool. Like, I mean, I live in Arizona. I'd be down to drive up to Lake Tahoe and go.
Yeah, or just like to continue, or like to put outdoor rinks in like unconventional locations like this. I feel like it'd be cool to give it a try.
Like, I love. There's some Canadians on the app that wanted to do the games at like Banff, like. Up in Canada, and I've seen pictures. It's gorgeous there, and I think that would be such a scenic place, home of hockey, if you will. That'd be awesome. And I have the ticker up, and it's the 3 p.m. Eastern. That didn't work at all.
Nope.
And then the 2 p.m. Eastern game, that didn't work.
We had in case you missed the game, we had a huge delay. The game resumed at midnight Eastern time after the first period. Yes. I think there were exactly either 8 or 9 hours between goals. Like, there was 1-0 after the first period, and then literally like on the second, like it was like 8 or 9 hours. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, that's how long it was between goals in the first game.
Oh, that was wild. Like, I don't usually sit down and watch a lot of hockey. I did sit down and watch Vegas, Colorado, and then after the first period, you get Mike Tirico, and he's like, "Sorry, guys," and you get Gary Bettman. He's like, "Sorry, guys, we're gonna come back at midnight Eastern," and I'm just like totally scratching my head. And
it was an interesting experience because I was preparing, because like I didn't think I was going to get to see the whole game because the Kings were playing later that day. Mm-hmm. The Kings game started in that break and ended before the break was over.
Oh, that's
so I was like, oh, I can watch the Kings game now. I got to see the whole game. And then I'm like, oh, there's still 2 more periods left of this outdoor game, so I can watch this now.
Nice. And hey, speaking of your Kings, they're rolling right now.
They are rolling, yes. I don't think anyone necessarily expected it.
No.
But here we are. 6 wins in a row. Justin Brown leads the West Division in goals. He's playing like it's 2012 again, which I love to see. It might be a little harder to win against Minnesota, though. I'm gonna be honest.
I think Minnesota's a like better team. I did all those polls at the beginning of the season, so I had to do my research. It's like, this team sucked. I know the Red Wings suck. I know Ottawa sucks, and I know like San Jose, LA, and Anaheim aren't very good. Well, of course, LA is winning games now, so there's that. But Minnesota was pretty solid. They were a common pick to like make the 3 or the 4 seed in the West. So really solid team.
I have a grudge against Kirill Kaprizov. He scored. So what happened in the first 2 opening games against the Kings, where he scored the overtime winner, and then he had an assist on the overtime winner in the second game, and I was just like, "F this guy," like it sucks.
That's hilarious. I don't remember the last time I was excited to watch a Red Wings game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So maybe they can keep this win streak going. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think they're in a bad spot if they lose. Right. There's still a lot more of the season to be played, but it definitely looks good. It's a lot better than where I think a lot of people have them right now. And it's a weird season, so if they don't make it, they don't make it. But I feel like if they don't make it this year, they still took a huge step in the rebuild process, and that next year it could probably be finally their time to break through. So I'm happy. I like the direction it's going.
Yeah, and I'm getting the standings pulled up real quick. There we go. So we got in the north, Toronto's on top with a 762 point percentage, followed by Edmonton, Winnipeg in terms of points, Montreal, Calgary.
Speaking of Montreal, by the way, they let go of Claude Julien, their head coach.
But he won the 2011 Cup with the Bruins, right?
I believe so. I mean, he was in a slump this like the Canadiens started out really strong. They haven't really been able to consistently keep it up, but like they're losing games to Ottawa.
Right, and Ottawa's not very good.
Yeah, as you can tell here.
341 point percentage, ladies and gents. That's not very good. It's the same as Detroit, in fact. Imagine that. Florida leads the Central on points.
That's a shocker.
Although Tampa does have a game in hand, and they have the higher point percentage. So, hey,
that's true.
There's a solid chance that Tampa wins tonight or tomorrow night or whenever they play again. And they're back on top, followed by Chicago and Carolina, Columbus. Dallas, of course, had the whole COVID outbreak at the beginning of the season. So they're, 3 games behind Tampa and 4, 5, 6 games behind. It's even 7 games behind Detroit, even though they have more points than they do. And then Nashville and Detroit round out the Central. Moving east, Boston's on top, 706 point percentage, followed by Washington, Islanders, Philly, Pittsburgh, Devils. Then the Rangers and Sabres are glued to the bottom of the table with a 441 point percentage and 15 points.
Buffalo has just been a disaster. I feel terrible for them, honestly.
Then we have the hot button, the West. Vegas has been rolling a 719 point percentage. St. Louis, LA, got those 6 W's in a row. Big time stuff there. Arizona right behind them in terms of point percentage. Minnesota, Colorado, they just need to play some more games. San Jose and Anaheim bringing up the rear with a 40% point percentage.
I feel like at this point right now, I don't know. I don't mean to sound biased or anything, but I feel like San Jose and Anaheim are kind of the 2 locks to miss the playoffs. Anyone else that's up for grabs.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You look. I don't think Buffalo is going to rebound. There's already a 6-point gap between the Rangers and Buffalo. I know the Rangers have had some hot and cold moments. Detroit, I think, is out of it. At least with Dallas and Nashville, you can say, oh well, they have games in hand.
Yeah.
Dallas has 6 games in hand on Columbus. 4 games in hand on Carolina.
I think every team had played at least like 4 or 5 games before Dallas even played one.
That was rough. Edmonton's won 5 in a row. Exciting times to be an Oiler fan.
That's interesting. I don't know. It's so weird when you're only focused. The way this league is set up right now, you're only focused on your one division. Everything else is kind of like in another world to you.
Yeah, for real.
It's like Edmonton winning games. Normally, I'd be concerned because they're in the Pacific Division. This year, they're in the North, so
you don't have to worry about it. And I don't have to worry about Colorado or St. Louis or any of the other teams that the Red Wings are traditional rivals with. But I guess there's pros and cons. I actually like the division stuff, division by division ordeal.
This is something I was mulling over before we started. I was thinking to myself, I like the 4 teams in each division making the playoffs, and next year, I think it'll be a lot easier for the NHL to do this because they're finally going to have balance. They're going to have 8 teams per division, 8 teams per division with Seattle coming in and Arizona moving to the Central. Why not just get rid of the wild card and then do the top 4 in each division make the playoffs?
Ooh, that could work. I think that'd be interesting. The only problem that I would have is you can't do the same thing you did this year because Seattle is not a Canadian team.
Well, that's true.
That's the only downside, I think. So that's a bummer, but hey, what to do, I guess.
But I feel like if you because they are going to revert back to the old divisions.
Yeah, that's
so true. That's what I was kind of thinking about. The all Canadian division is fun, but geographically, I don't think it really makes that much sense.
Right, because then you have like Vancouver traveling to Toronto, etc. And that's
for a divisional game.
Yeah, for 9 times a year. Maybe actually it's probably what 10 because there's only 7. Or do they play? Yeah, they play
normally in like an 82 game schedule. It would be like 4 or 5 times, or not even 4 or 5. Like that's how much they just play each other over the course of the year.
Okay.
Typically, though, it would be this year. Though, I mean, it would be a lot more numerous.
Yeah, because at this point, and even then, you can like schedule things. So like you play like Montreal and Toronto and Boston and New York, and you have these road trips. That's a lot of the stuff that the NBA does. Like the Cavs have this road trip, and they play Utah and both LA teams and Sacramento and Golden State, and they play all of them like at once, and then they return home and have this big homestand against random teams. And it's one thing to like fly to Memphis for a game, or fly to Atlanta for a game, or fly to Washington, but it's a whole nother thing to like fly to Portland, fly back to Cleveland, and then fly to like Miami the next night or something. So, that's one of the marvels of sports, modern sports, is how travel works. With these guys and like planes for their teams, like quality planes. They don't have to ride like commercial planes anymore.
The Patriots have their own plane.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool, actually, how they have their own specific plane built for them. I feel like a lot of teams would benefit from that.
I'm sure a lot of teams do. It's just we don't hear about it because they aren't 6-time Super Bowl champion.
And they're also not, because like this Patriots plane is literally like covered in Patriots logos. Like it has a huge word mark on the side.
My dad works for Delta down in Atlanta, and he's worked on several like team planes, whether it's Panthers or Hurricanes or Clemson, Alabama, that sort of deal. But it's not. You're like when you look at the plane, it doesn't say University of Clemson. It's like says Delta on it.
That's how arrogant the Patriots are, I guess.
Yeah, they probably have 6 huge Lombardi trophies on it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they do, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. They probably have some like maybe they do it in like a small location because they can be really petty. They had 283 rings on 283 rings. 283 diamonds on their Super Bowl 51 rings. Shout out to the Falcons.
Oh, they actually do.
Yes, they actually.
I was wrong. They this is their. Hang on a moment.
So I love their Super Bowl rings. Hey,
I have it on my phone. Forgive me, but this is their plane right now. If you can see. On the tail fin.
Let me try to go. Oh no! Hey, that's wrong. Me.
That's me. I don't think it works, but
okay, you can post it on the app or something.
Yeah,
we can go from there. If you want to see that picture of the Patriots plane, check out the U Stadium app. And this is a perfect segue because it's time to talk about the No Fun League, and I think both of us are in agreement here that this is a disgrace.
Absolutely.
Like this is a disgrace. The first 44 logos, actually the first 45 because 45 is not a ripoff. First 45 logos, they're good. They're really nice. And then we have Super Bowl 46. What are you doing?
Yeah, I remember seeing the logo for 46, and I was like, oh boy, they're going to make this an every year thing, aren't they? And then 47 comes out, and I'm like, yikes.
Like
yikes.
I get you have the Superdome for 47, and you have I'm blanking. It's MetLife for 48. And you have I guess at the time it was University of Phoenix Stadium, maybe State Farm Stadium. I don't remember.
It was University of Phoenix back then. It's State Farm now.
Okay, gotcha. Then you have Levi's in 50. And then, what are you doing for 51 through 54? And 55, it's not up here because that's not how math works. But 55 is essentially these 4 just with a V instead of I's. Are you kidding me, NFL? You have some gorgeous ones. You have, this 43. You have...
43 I love.
You have even beautiful. The older ones, even the first World Championship game, AFL versus NFL. That's pretty cool. Or Super Bowl 13. That's gorgeous. My favorite is probably Super Bowl 21 with the rose. You get 28, 29, 30 is cool. 36 is awesome. Although, I feel bad for your Rams there, pal. 39 is really cool.
34 was the one we wanted, though.
Yes. 34.
Yeah.
Shout out to Graham's 1 yard short Titans. Super Bowl 39, and it just tails off. Like 44 is good. I remember my uncle lived in Miami at the time, and he got me some like a Super Bowl book, and it had the logo, and I was like, that was really cool. And now the last 11, 12 logos now are just 11 logos, I guess, or just, what are you doing, NFL?
That's true. I will say the one for this year, for 56, I think it's going in a better direction. Like it is still on the same template, but if you can get 56s up somewhere.
So here's a mock-up that this Chris Creamer guy shot out.
Sports Logos. That I love this website. It's incredible. I go on there all the time. This is this is 45 and beyond replaced with the committee logos. And you can see how much of an improvement.
Really like 45. I like 45 a lot. I mean,
45 is looking great.
Obviously, there needs to be some these aren't good Super Bowl logos, but they're good logos in general, I think. Yeah. Even the Super Bowl 50 logo, that's really clean.
If you just switch some text around, I feel like they would be good Super Bowl logos.
Yeah, if you said Super Bowl 50, I guess that'd be pretty cool.
You look at the Houston one, you just switch Super Bowl 51 in Houston. That would be a good logo. Yeah. Minnesota's, I kind of like that one.
Yeah, I think Minnesota is cool. I love Atlanta's. You have the oh my goodness, it's like the
roof of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The halo is what it's called.
Yes, exactly. And then even the Super Bowl 54 one in Miami, that's really cool. And you just see an erosion of effort, and I don't like it. I don't like it. This is why people call the NFL the No Fun League.
Considering how it's the biggest nationally televised event every single year, you would think they should try to put a little more effort into the branding for it, and they just don't. But if you can find 55, 56 though, I mean.
Let me try to pull that up real quick.
Because I think 56 is going in the right direction. It's still on the template, like I mentioned, but it's moving more towards being a little more creative.
Let's hope we don't get a copyright strike from going on Twitter. Okay. Oh, well, I guess yesterday was the 56th day of the year, so that's cool. Shoot. Why can't I find it? I mean, I would.
If you check that website, if you check Sports Logos down there, you should find it.
Good point. But I think that might take too long to load and don't want.
That's true. Yeah, there are a lot of ads on that site. It is a good site. I recommend.
Okay. What? Oh, that's WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. It's at SoFi Stadium, so there's advertising.
That's a pretty terrible logo. Big Ben is coming back. 16-1 season coming up.
Oh, boy.
And on that note, we're going to go to some hot takes.
Can't find it?
No, I can't find it.
Yeah, well, it's better. If you look it up, I think it's moving in the right direction.
All right, so let's get some spicy takes up in here. Let's see. Do we have any in the chat? Let's see. We got Deshaun to the Panthers from Tiksa. Might happen. That'd be interesting. I mean, I think that's a good fit. You get him with Joe Brady, although Joe Brady might be gone next season. So, what do you do, I guess? Also from Big T, Washington taking the division. I don't think this is a hot take. I think both of us chose Washington 2 weeks ago, right?
Is he talking about football or hockey? Because I think he commented this during the hockey one.
Good point.
If we're talking football though, I think we definitely both picked Washington.
Yes. All right. So we have a handful of hot takes tonight. Are you ready, Jack?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So we're gonna try something new tonight. I want you to give a spicy meter. So is it like bell pepper spice, like habanero spice, ghost pepper spice? So just Just think of the first chili or the first pepper that pops into your mind when I tell you the take. Here we go. This is from Vince107 on the app. The Eagles will win more than 10 games this season.
What's the highest level of spice you said?
I said ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper.
It might be.
We need to get Henry to make like a graphic of this, but like.
Yes. Okay. Henry, if you're watching, I don't know if you are watching, make us some spicy meat.
Make us a spice meter.
Yes. Oh, that'd be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty high up there though.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a pretty hot take. I mean, I like Jalen Hurts. I like a lot of things Philadelphia does, but I don't trust them to win 10 games.
I don't think they're going to win 9, honestly.
I don't even think they might not even win 6. So that's weird.
I wouldn't go that. I think 6 is probably their floor.
I think
or
they
not
go
floor,
5 and 11.
Not
5
floor,
and 11, 5 and 12 if the 17-game season is a thing.
6 is about, I think 6 wins, honestly. 6 and 10.
Right.
6 and
Here we go. This is from Dapt72. The Bears actually acquire Russell Wilson.
I'm going to put this one in about the middle of the spice meter, of the imaginary spice meter.
Not quite habanero, maybe like
we're coming up with this on the fly.
Like a jalapeno, like a little kick, like if you have it, nacho cheese. It's like nacho
cheese. There you go.
Yeah, I got the nacho cheese tier. I think it could happen. I think Chicago has some assets that they can use. Like they have the first, they're not giving Oakland/Vegas first-round picks anymore for Khalil Mack. So I think there's a possibility that you trade for Wilson. If you re-sign Robinson, you get a little sticky financially, but I think, hey, Wilson probably wants to play with Allen Robinson. I think he'd be the best receiver. Now, I'm not saying Lockett or DK or Golden Tate or pick your guy, Doug Baldwin. I don't think any of them suck, but I think Allen Robinson's just a little bit better than all of them, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be.
I would say DK is probably better in size, but that's about it. Because like they both know how to make big plays, but like obviously as we've seen, DK is just like huge.
Yeah, right. So even Allen Robinson, he's not a small man. He's
not small at all. It's just DK is like so much bigger.
That's true. All right, here we go. Hot take number 3. This is from Frank FTV 1939. The Eagles will win less than 10 games this season.
Not a hot take. This is about the milk on the spicy scale.
This is bell pepper take. This is 0 Scovilles. This is he's just mocking the first hot take. 2, come on now.
We all know the Eagles will win less than 10 games.
All right. Here we go. This is from Noah 87. Jamal Adams finessed Seattle.
Finessed Seattle.
Yes, finessed Seattle.
I need to process this. How would he have finessed Seattle? Didn't he get traded there?
Yes. If anything, Joe Douglas finessed Seattle.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's fair. I mean, Seattle paid Jamal Adams, but I mean, he's a good player. I know people like to hate him, and especially when we're on a Jets-specific platform, people love to hate Jamal Adams. But he had a solid year. He can't cover anything, but then again, he's in a brand new system that people don't give the credit that. Was it Ken Norton? He's not a great DC, but he does run a totally different system than most of the rest of the NFL. So it's not. I don't think it's really his Jamal Adams' fault that he's in a really complex defense.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to hear what you say on this because I was on. Shout out to Dan. I was on Time to BS last week, and I actually brought up a suggestion. I think that they should just make Jamal Adams a full-time linebacker.
Ooh.
And not a strong safety anymore, or free safety or whatever he plays. I don't think he should drop in the coverage anymore. I think he's a much better guy at rushing the passer. It's just that they have so many options on their pass rush right now.
Right. I mean, I think KJ Wright could be on his way out, so you could definitely see Jamal Adams playing more of the linebacker role, even if it's. You remember Deion Buchanan, right? At the Cardinals?
I think so.
So he was a safety in college, but he transitioned to being a middle linebacker in the NFL. And it was the kind of thing like it just works, for some players it works. It doesn't work for other players. And or like Mark Barron, right? He was a safety at Alabama, linebacker for the Rams. Sometimes it just works. And I think Adams, I think you are getting more out of Adams if he's closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, because I could tell that there was like a night and day difference between, at least against the Rams, because that's the only time I watched Seattle. It was like a night and day difference in those games versus what, because like he had, when he dropped in the coverage, he couldn't cover anybody. Like Cooper Kupp was owning him, but then when he rushes off, he forces a fumble.
Yeah, I still think Adams is a special player. It's hard to get pressures as often as he does. It's like I know he's against like running backs or tight ends or sixth offensive linemen. I get it, but he's still consistently winning those matchups, and those are the matchups he's going to get. This isn't Aaron Donald is being blocked by, Chris Carson. This is Jamal Adams is being blocked by Chris Carson.
You put that image in my head.
Nope. Chris Carson can't block Jamal Adams. This is Malcolm Brown is blocking Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams should win that matchup, and he does a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament. Shout out to Adam. That's a testament to how well Jamal Adams plays. And that's valuable. You can say, "Oh, he's not good in coverage. He doesn't do this. He rushes the passer well." And
that's why I suggested the position switch. Because he just does so much more better when he's rushing the passer versus when he's in coverage.
Right. All right, here we go. Hot take number 5. This is from Steven. Shout out to the Giants. Hot take. Okay. The Browns win the
division. Read it.
I mean,
go nuts. The floor is there.
Okay, here's my thing. So I'm going to release my power rankings soon. Spoiler alert, the Ravens are ahead of the Browns by 1 spot. If I remember correctly, Baltimore's 5, Cleveland's 6. It might be 6 and 7, but either or, they're 1 spot behind. I trust Baltimore's defense a lot more than I trust Cleveland's defense, and I think the offenses are going to be the same-ish. You a little bit higher upside Cleveland passing game, a little bit higher upside Ravens rushing game. I trust Lamar to be a little bit more consistent than Baker. I trust him to make a couple fewer mistakes. I trust Rick Roman to call an excellent run game. They're going to be 11 wins-ish, 11 or 12 wins. So if the Browns win the division, I'm not going to be shocked. I think. Yeah. Actually, I don't really think I'd be shocked even if Cincinnati won the division. Pittsburgh's weird. I need to figure out who their quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be Ben? Is it for sure going to be Ben? Do they want to go Mac Jones? Or are they going to screw around? Or is it just going to be Ben? Because, look, the Steelers aren't going to play the Colts 17 times this season. That was the only time Big Ben looked remotely competent in December was against the Colts. And it just happens always against the Colts. Don't worry about it.
That's like Goff when he plays Arizona.
Yeah, shout out to Nick L. I know people wanted me to mention him on the chat, mention him on the show. Shout out to Nick. Your Nets are really good. Your Cardinals aren't very good. But I don't think this is a very spicy take. I would say maybe a little bit more than like somewhere between like bell pepper and jalapeno. The Browns are a decent shot to win the division.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here we go. Hot take number 6. This is from Weedham Boys, WDBC. No. Thank you, Jason. I don't know if he was replying to post your hot takes or comment if you'd like to be a guest. So hot take is number 7. This is from Charles. Hot take. Jets trade down and still take a quarterback.
That's. I mean, that would be dumb, honestly. If you unless you got Deshaun, this is what I'm saying. Need to get Deshaun.
But then you wouldn't. Yeah, but then I guess at that point you're not really trading down. You're just trading out of the draft.
Yeah.
Because like Houston doesn't have a first-round pick, so you're not really trading down, I guess. I mean, I think this defeats the purpose of being the number 2 pick in the draft because you have your Fields or Wilson. Like I think Wilson's a little bit better. I'm not going to fight you if you say Fields. That's fine. But you have your pick at 2. And, I mean, I guess you could do a pro gamer move and trade down with Miami. Oh, wait. Miami doesn't want a quarterback, or might not want a quarterback. Let me rephrase it. Might not want a quarterback. They could draft one. I don't think they will. But, I think your pro gamer move, we're going to trade down with Miami. We're going to get some picks. Miami's not going to trade up. What? Miami, I sincerely doubt. The only quarterback Miami wants over Tua is Deshaun Watson. So if you get Watson for something that doesn't gut your franchise, okay, we're good. But they're not going to trade up and draft Zach Wilson. They're not going to trade up and draft Justin Fields, especially when they can get the other one at 3. So, I mean, the Jets are in a weird spot that the team behind them doesn't want a quarterback. Probably doesn't.
More than likely won't take one. And then the Jets themselves, they might want one, they might not want one.
Yeah, like there's a chance Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback of the New York Jets in 2021.
It could be Sam Darnold, it could be
Fields,
Zach Wilson, it could be Justin Fields, or I'm messing my words up,
You're
but
good.
You know who I mean. Fields or Wilson, and then it could be Deshaun Watson. You never know.
And it could be Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco to God.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Austin Wright in the chat. Joe Burrow is the 2021 Comeback Player of the Year.
I agree.
I don't know what he's coming back. Well, I don't know where he's. Well, yeah, but I feel like Comeback Player of the Year, you have to have some something going right to begin with.
That's also fair because he is coming back to the Bengals. And
Alex Smith, for example, was. Well, I guess Alex Smith wasn't very good this year. Say Ben Roethlisberger.
What happened with Alex Smith? I think because he did have something going good for him. Because for one thing, he cheated death, and then he went from cheating death to winning a game that put Washington into the playoffs. Yeah. So
that's true. I think if say Ben won it or Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett would have been my pick. I'm just gonna be honest with you there. Verrett and or didn't someone Alex Smith wasn't unanimous, right? Someone voted for Ben.
Someone might have voted for Ben.
Oh man. So if Ben had won it or Verrett had won it, they were good players in the past. Ben was led the league in passing yards in 18, Pro Bowler, many-time Pro Bowler. Jason Verrett was one of the better corners in the NFL that just couldn't stay out of the hospital for 5 years.
I remember, again, I've said this before on the show, but I remember making a lot of posts about how Jason Verrett's hurt. Yeah. He's not playing, he's hurt. And then I mentioned this week 6 against San Francisco, he picked off Jared Goff, and I was like, this is the guy that's hurt all the time.
Yeah.
And it's
it's wild. And we got our last hot take. We're gonna wrap up a little early today. This is from Big T Tixa. Bauer has an awful year in LA and ends up getting traded away.
Talking a little baseball here.
And Jack is frantically Googling what is the hottest pepper in the world.
Yeah, that's what it is though. I think Bauer, I don't think he'll have a perfect year, but I think he's gonna have a really decent year. He's gonna have He'll be up there in the mix of the best pitchers the Dodgers have. They have a lot of good pitchers though. Yeah. We were just talking last week.
Dustin Wood is your number 7 starter, and he's probably the number 3 starter on every team in the NL.
Yeah.
Besides, Atlanta has 3 good starters. New York, he's probably starter 4.
How good is Tampa Bay? I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay is up there.
See, Tampa just traded Snell to so Tampa kind of fell apart.
True.
Snell is in San Diego. Charlie Morton is in Hotlanta. And you're like, what are you doing, Tampa? You just went to the World Series.
Everyone was saying when the World Series ended, Tampa Bay was going to have a good year in 2021. They were going to have a comeback year, and now they're just throwing it away.
It's like, what are you doing?
If you just made it to the World Series, you should follow the path of the team that just won it. Don't keep your core I mean, obviously, if you could trade for Mookie Betts, trade for Mookie Betts. But, like, for the most part, keep your core, and you have a real shot at getting even farther next year. And I can see the disappointment on your face as soon as I mentioned Mookie Betts.
I am convinced. I'm convinced. Like, I'm tinfoil hat. Actually, I have tinfoil. Here we go.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Tinfoil hat. I hope I don't get burrito juice on my head. Here we go. Tinfoil hat. The Atlanta Braves in the 2020 National League Championship Series had a bet within the organization that whoever hit the most fly balls to Mookie Betts got paid like $10 million. I have never seen that many fly balls hit to one player. Bellinger had some too. I have never seen this. You know how in the NBA you can like throw an alley-oop to someone and like say like Dwayne Wade throws an alley-oop to LeBron. It's a LeBron highlight. Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna, Johan Camargo, Duvall was hurt, Austin Riley, Travis Sarno. They decided, do we want to go to the World Series or do we want to add to Mookie Betts' highlight reel? And they all said, we're going to add to Mookie Betts' highlight reel.
They want for option B.
He can bowl 300. He can have this 12-minute highlight clip from just one game. This man probably had an hour worth of highlights in the National League Championship Series, and he didn't even win NLCS MVP. Right? It was Seager. And I am beyond mortified that I have to root for this godforsaken franchise that all they do is hit freaking fly balls to Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger. Oh,
pain. I'm just trying not to brag right now. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's fine. I'm trying to enjoy it while it lasts.
And if the stupid Rays had just beaten you in the World Series, then you would have a longer drought than we do. But you had a title streak this year with the Dodgers and the Lakers, and I'm over here like I'm genuinely like if the Ravens obviously didn't win the Super Bowl. So the Cavs aren't going to win the finals.
No.
The Dead Things are not going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think the Braves are going to win the World Series.
Maybe a chance.
I guess they could. I don't know. Maybe they start hitting fly balls to Mookie Betts again. If those three things happen, I'm going to have the longest streak of my lifetime without a championship from one of my franchises. And you had a streak in 2020.
In 2020.
On that note,
do you still count Atlanta United though?
I'm honestly more of a fan of Swansea City. Like they do nice soccer team. So
yeah, I'm still out here repping my last place Galaxy.
Oof.
Okay. Anyway,
so I'm gonna go convert to alcoholism. Jack, I hope you. I kind of want to say something nice, but also you're a Dodgers fan. Please watch Manny Machado strike out repeatedly for the 2018 Dodgers, not the 2020 Padres. Everyone, have a nice night. Pray for my liver, please. Oh, also, I'm 19. I'm not drinking, obviously.
We're not. He's not. We don't. Yeah.
I have strawberry milk and chocolate milk. Ooh.
I'll just treat that like it's alcohol. Next week, I feel like we should talk about Washington, by the way, because they said that as one more note to like the jersey logo type of deal, they said they'd only play one more year as the Washington football team. So I think we'll speculate.
The Red Tails.
We'll speculate on that next week, I guess.
And I will wallow in my depression, folks. Thank you for showing out. Hopefully you don't hit fly balls to Mookie Betts.
Please do. Peace.